So here's our water collection system here at Casita Verde. As you can see, there's a channel going up alongside the road here. This was actually made by the local council back in 1999 when they asphalted the road. And actually it serves us very well because it collects all the rainwater which falls onto the forest, and instead of going onto the road, it comes down this channel, which is a few hundred meters long and goes all the way along the side of the forest, gathers all the water from not only our forest but the forest of the neighbours, and it comes down here. And we just built this extension to the channel so that we can collect the water in a 2-ton deposit right here. This is the end of our land here. This tree represents the end of our property. As you can see here, we put a metal grill on the top of here to stop the leaves and small particles arriving inside the water. And if I open the tank to have a look inside, it's very dry at the moment. We need to clean it out before the next rains. But this is a more or less 2,000 litre tank, and it fills up with rainwater. When it's full of rainwater, the leaves float on the surface. If there are anything heavier than the water goes to the bottom and forms a sediment on the bottom of the tank. But clean water is taken from the middle of the tank with this siphon. This is a plastic tube in the shape of an elbow, and it actually just sucks water from the centre of the tank into another holding tank over here, where we put the water. When we run out of water, like now in the summertime, we have to buy water and ship it up here in big trucks. We buy 16 tons of water at a time, which costs us around €90 every time the truck comes. So what he does, basically, the truck driver, he comes here, he takes up this grill and he puts the end of the pipe from the tank, from his water tank, into that tube, and it goes directly to our 80,000 litre tank over there, which you can just see. We're going to go and have a look at that tank now and see what happens there. So this is an 80,000 litre tank, an 80-ton water tank. It's the same kind of tank as the fire department use to store water in the countryside in case there's a forest fire and they can have accessible water in any part of the island. So just come here with a helicopter, for example, take the top off, and they can dip their scoop in there and go and put out the fire in the forest. And they're also very good for agricultural purposes. That's why we've got one here. We collect rainwater all the winter time and we store it in this tank. That means we have free water from the rain all the winter and until around the end of May normally. If it's been raining as normal during the winter, we have water until the end of May. From the end of May until probably September, when the first rains come, we have to have water delivered, as I explained before, by trucks, and they come up from a well in San Rafael and they tip the water into this tank. At the bottom of the tank here is a big tap. That's the main output from the tank down there. And because this water quite often has a lot of cal inside, a lot of lime, we've actually installed a special mechanism here which works by magnetism, and it's seated inside this box. This is an Australian invention that actually removes the cal from the water and makes sure that the cal doesn't block up all the pipe systems down below, like the hot water systems and the irrigation systems that we use here on Casita Verde. Now we're going to follow the water train down towards the main installations in Casita Verde. We're going to show you how we use the water and then how we recycle the water into the vegetable gardens. So here we are washing the dishes with the water that we've collected from the rain or that we've had transported up here in trucks, and we're going to wash the dishes with it. We're always using ecological soap so that we don't poison the plants, because later on this grey water or dirty water with some soap in it as well, and obviously whatever we've washed from the dishes, it's going to go through some filters now and then it's going to be fed to the vegetables in the vegetable garden via a distribution system that we've installed down there. So I'm going to pour the water away. This water goes out of here, it goes down a long tube, and it goes all the way to the filters. These are live filters with papyrus grass growing in there, which filters the water. Okay, so let's go and have a look at that. So this is the natural filter. This is papyrus. It's a special plant that grows in the River Nile, and it's especially here to clean the water. What it does, it takes out any heavy metals from the water, and it adds oxygen. I'm just waiting for some water to arrive here from the kitchen as we've just done some washing up. There's the water coming in here. This is a filter that catches any grease, so that we don't have any grease going into the water filter system. Then we just tip this into the compost later on and let it compost. Okay, so there's some washing up water coming from the kitchen sink. It's going into this filter, which is basically a contained unit with a plastic lining. It's about 30 centimeters deep, and it's full of this special plant which filters the water. So here's the other end of the filter, and when that water gets filtered, it comes out into this other filter, and this goes down to a special device which distributes all the water to the 14 vegetable gardens we use to grow our vegetables, mostly in the winter, because in the summertime we don't really use enough water in the summertime, and a lot of it gets lost in evaporation. So under normal circumstances, like on a Sunday for example, when we're doing a lot of washing up, there'll be a flow of water coming through this end of the filter and going to the tipper box, which will then distribute the water into 14 different vegetable gardens, all exactly equal. Here's the water coming now from the filter. The water that's been filtered is going to tip the box up any second now. The box was going to tip up, and it's going to distribute all the water into 14 different tubes which go to the bottom of the box. That ensures that every single one of the vegetable gardens gets exactly the same amount of water. This is not our invention, but we built one following the instructions. This is actually made out of 2 disused petrol tanks from speedboats, so it's a completely recycled object like most of the things in Casita Verde. This pipe here comes from the washing machine and the shower, and this one comes from the main house installations. That's my house, the bar, the washing up area, the outside kitchen. All these places go through that big filter we've just been looking at, and it comes out that side. The washing machine and the shower have their own filter, and that first passes through a mint farm where we cultivate mint, and then it passes into this tube, and then it goes to water the garden. So we're using it again on the way to water the mint that we use in our famous aloe vera drink. So here's the water coming from the tipper box into the strawberry field here. So you can see there we are, some more water coming. Basically it goes down to the bottom of the box, which has a plastic lining, and then it's absorbed upwards, and it waters the roots of the plants. In this way we don't lose any water to evaporation, because we're actually watering the roots of the plants, not the top of the garden. Obviously in the winter time we get rain falling on top of the garden as well, which helps to grow the vegetables even better. Okay, now I'm going to put the lid back on so that nothing else falls in there. So we're growing some strawberries here, which is about the only thing we grow here in the summertime. Maybe a few lettuces and some strawberries. It's just not worth it. We have to buy the water to water vegetables which we can buy cheaper on our own market in Ferrara. So it doesn't make any economic sense at all to spend a lot of money on trucking water up here in big quantities to water plants that actually we can buy cheaper in the market on the island and support the local economy. So actually the garden in the summertime is not very well stocked with plants, because as I've just explained, we buy most of our stuff from the market. We've got a couple of lemon trees here waiting to be planted in the winter time. We're keeping them in good condition in these 2 pots. But right now you're going to see a photograph that we've taken in the winter time of our winter vegetable garden, which as you can see is completely full of vegetables and edible things.